Hello, my name is Dr. Tina Ibironke. My topic today is titled Effects of Parenting in the Artificial Intelligence Era. The outline for today's presentation, talking about introduction, problem, hypothesis, related research, implementation, findings, and the next steps. Objectives for this discussion is to understand parenting, traditional and the modern approaches, identify the problems, analyze solutions, and finally describe the next steps for the research. Introduction. Parenting, as we now know, is a traditionally reliance on human-centered factor like experience, cultural values, and direct interactions to guide a child. In the modern parenting, this artificial intelligence era, AI era, it's increasingly incorporating AI tools that would offer personalized insights, educational support, and also assist in decision making. Also, while it's very beneficial to an extent, the integration of AI also introduces complex challenges that requires careful and responsible implementation. The problem I'm proposing here is that AI is transforming parenting by augmenting decision making and the child development support. It's departing gradually from traditional practices that's rooted in human interaction and cultural experience. Over reliance on AI raises concerns about reduction in the parent-child interaction, the weakening of emotional bonds, and of course, delegation of the caregiving responsibilities traditionally done by parents to automated systems. There's a clear lack of framework and empirical evidence to guide a responsible AI integration, creating uncertainty about how to balance technological benefits with the essential human-centered interaction of parenting. And this is the problem that we'll be addressing and talking about in this presentation. My hypothesis. Unregulated reliance on AI in parenting can reduce parent-child interaction, weaken emotional bonding, and of course negatively affect child development. The outcome of child development very significantly. Implementing a structured evidence-based framework that sets clear boundaries for AI use, that also prioritizing it as a supportive tool rather than a replacement, can improve the decision making and learning and still preserve a strong parent-child relationship. And that is my hypothesis today. Other related researchers out there are made some points, and they have also came up with their own result and perspective regarding AI parenting this AI age. One of them said, pointed out that artificial intelligence is becoming more deeply integrated in family life, which that's very, very obvious. It's influencing parenting practices, it's child development, and of course overall household dynamics. And in this interdisciplinary research, spanning through psychology and education and human-computer interaction, also highlights that there are benefits and also potential risk in AI-mediated parenting. And one research also said that current literature talks about 4 primary domains of AI use. It said parenting, information to seek information, routine management, parent training and support for parent-child interaction. So these are some of the related research. More on the research also breaks the parenting into like 4 different categories. It says parents are now, with the AI use, are becoming a gatekeeper, whereby parents are no longer just managing the screen time. They now have to manage the filters. They need to know what the children, make sure they're watching the right thing, the data privacy of children, because little children may, or at least the younger ones may not really know the importance of how to keep their privacy. And those are the things that they need to keep when they're using AI, when they're actually using AI as a supportive tool for interactive supportive tool. Secondly, there's a shift from restrictive to active mediation. Actively, parents are significantly having to use AI with a child. When the AI is used, when a child is using the AI, parents have to be significantly interacting and acting as a mediator between the AI and the child. And the third category here is that cognitive and social anthropomorphism. The friend Fowler said children are not even seeing the AI as, probably seeing it more as, they rely more on it. Children rely more on it as a friend tool. So children are now view AI as a sentient social pair rather than a tool. So the anthropomorphic tendency can lead to over-reliance on chatbots for emotional support for the children. There's a mental health safety gap, whereby the clinical advisories, they've highlighted that there's a dangerous paradox among adolescents. Research warns that AI lacks the ethical guardrails and clinical depth required for crisis management, and this creates a safety gap that parents must be ready to monitor actively. Here is a table that was actually generated. This is generated by AI generated simulated study of 1,200 families over 18-month period. And this was the result. The horizontal labels have the traditional parenting, unregulated AI use, and integrated AI. For the vertical headers are traditional parenting, unregulated AI use, integrated AI. And for the horizontal, the titles are the parent-child interaction. We're going to weigh that against traditional parenting and unregulated AI use and integrated AI use. We're going to also have on the vertical, on the horizontal line, the emotional bonding score, cognitive development, parenting decision, and child behavior regulation. As we can see, for parent interaction frequency under the traditional and unregulated and integrated, we can see that traditional parenting actually has a higher score, 1 being the low and 10 being high. So parent-child interaction traditionally is very, very high, is the highest. And we keep going down, we can see that for emotional bonding, cognitive development, parental decision, child behavioral regulation, unregulated AI use seems to be always consistently almost the lowest. Now, as far as other things, now we have high score. Emotional bonding, of course, is high when it is traditional parenting. Also, we have a higher score for parent decision-making confidence with the integration with integrated use of AI. So ultimately, we can see that unregulated use of AI is significantly lower for most of the different categories looking at this table. The findings here is that the empirical simulation confirms the dual pathway nature of AI in the domestic sphere. The data supports the following conclusions. There's an erosion of engagement. Families utilizing AI without a structured framework showed that there's a 48% decrease in meaningful parent-child verbal exchanges. There's a cognitive enhancement versus the relation delusion. Again, these are the findings from the table that we just saw. While unregulated AI use showed slight gains in cognitive metrics, they were offset by a significant drop in behavioral regulation, of course, likely due to lack of parental co-regulation. And finally, the framework efficacy, which is the integrated AI cohort, outperformed all groups. By using AI to augment parental knowledge, of course, this is from evidence-based health insights. Rather than replace parental presence, these families achieve the highest scores in both cognitive development and parental confidence. Finally, and this is to conclude this research and moving forward, again, this is not to reinvent the wheel. This is just to add to what's already been out there, and also to suggest the next steps when it comes to parenting the AI age. And there's my conclusion. Overall, the literature frames AI in parenting as a dual impact phenomenon. On one hand, AI enhances learning, provides behavioral insights, and supports parents in managing increasingly complex caregiving responsibilities. On the other hand, it introduces risk related to over-reliance, reduced interaction, privacy concerns, and developmental uncertainties. But recent frameworks such as the HEAT model, which is a human-centeredness, equality, and accuracy trust, emphasize that the effectiveness of AI in parenting depends on its alignment with human values and developmental needs. Consequently, current research converges on a central theme. AI should function as a supportive augmentation tool, not a replacement for parental presence, judgment, and emotional engagement. This body of research underscores the importance of the balance, reinforcing the need for frameworks that guide ethical information, developmentally appropriate use of AI in family life. Thank you.